Introducing.
Go ahead. Who are you introducing?
Introducing Captain Fish Keller. Yay!
All right, now let's work all this out the first show, right? We'll work out all the kinks, but know where it is. Get your white paper suit on, hit the cue. Why we're around here for so long is we keep it together, right? More than other clubs, there's never any bullshit in here. We're different than everybody else because all we care about is the people in this room, right? We got guys that are 60 years old next to guys that are 10 years old and everybody in between. Our biggest asset is our personality. We got first time in Fancy Brigade history, a Fancy Brigade club has had two guys who wore 50 suits.
This parade starts when those divers come down on that submarine, and this parade ends when we go like this. That's when this parade ends.
Freddie and I started in the New Year's Day Parade together in 1961. Both of us were 3 years old, and we've been in the Jokers ever since. Freddie and I have probably spent more time dancing together than most husband and wife combinations. One of the things I could say about Freddie growing up in the Jokers is he has a deep understanding of how important the traditions of the club are.
Growing up in the club, one of always the best times growing up was Sundays, going to drill, coming up here, being with the guys, older guys, younger guys, guys my age.
It's fun growing up a Joker, especially having a captain like Freddie. Freddie was one of the best captains, and the only captain I had.
It was the best feeling, you know, waking up on New Year's Day.
These guys are like family to me. They're like my brothers.
Well, everyone knows, especially the people who grew up in the club, that this isn't just a mummers club or a social club. This is really in the fabric of families that have been in it for a long time. It's where we socialize. It's friendships that last literally lifetimes.
What were you thinking? Number 1, continuously flipping and dropping Rico on his head. What were you thinking? Number 2, using red and white pajama material for the backdrop for Carnival of the Animals. What were you thinking?
Some people call me the space cowboy.
Fred has always represented the club in the best light, whether it be parading in Dublin or Holyoke, Massachusetts, where our music died way before we did. He always he put his best foot forward, and he always made me proud.
Well, I guess we can let it out now. It's been a long time family secret that the 13 years I was captain of the club, I really kept it under wraps and kept all the good ideas and gave them to Freddie so that he could be the guy that wins all the first prizes, and I was the guy that just had the ideas and sat on them until he was ready to take them bring the club to the forefront.
Freddie was a big influence in my life, and more so than the Jokers, more so than 2nd Street, more so than anything, he's a very big part of who I am today. And I know it's been said like this a lot before, but if I could grow up and be half the person that Freddie is, then I know I did all right.
A lot of people don't know this, but
I was the only guy Freddie ever sponsored in his club. Why he stopped after that, I don't know. But, you know, this guy was a visionary. He seen something in this fat kid from 4th Street. 10 years after I joined the club, he had me in spandex.
Fred Keller here joins me, the captain. Nice job today. Here's a look at some of your performance. Why don't you give us the play-by-play? How's that look to you? You proud to watch it?
Yeah. I'm in a blur right now. I'm sweating my ass off.
With Fred, we learn from our mistakes. Freddie started to understand the parade. Through the years of being a captain, he realized what it would take to win the parade. And each year we got a little better at it.
I remember back in the, when we wore the Into the Woods suit, he ran up a line and 8 guys followed him up the wrong line. That's how much of a leader he is. Those guys followed him, knowing that they were going up the wrong line. It's amazing.
There's 3 words that describe Freddie. It's unselfish, leader, and class. He always told me to think of the club first to make a decision. He did everything traditional, and I always remember that and always try to follow the same footsteps that he did.
What were you thinking? Number 3, pretending you weren't scared shitless when you were on top of the spaceship, the Space Year. What were you thinking up there?
The remarkable thing about Freddie is you have to realize from October to December, it is an unbelievably crazy time. There's a million things to do. We have about 125 members here, and guys, depending on what their situation in life is, a lot of guys can give a lot of time and a lot of guys can give a little. No matter what you did, if you were there all the time or you could show up occasionally, he had a remarkable way of making you feel important.
It's a little hectic around here. Freddie at least works up here like around 18 hours a day, 17 hours a day. We're running back and forth, who's running down a costume, who's running over kinkers. It's hectic, but Freddie does one hell of a job keeping the guys together doing that. And I don't know how he does it, but we really appreciate what he does.
And if you have an idea, Freddie will think about it and he'll talk to you about it rather than just dismiss it out of hand. Even if it doesn't actually fit what we're doing at that moment, he might say, well, that won't work here, but how about if we do it this way? What do you think if we tried that? And he would really keep you involved.
Overall, you know, Freddie did a great job. Even though he had a face for radio, no other captain had to work with such a deformity as that dude he's got. But he did a great job, and he got a little crazy sometimes, but you know, we smacked him around, straightened him out, and he made it all work out in the end.
In preparing for the parade, Freddie had a special knack for identifying people's strengths. The guys that were good at welding, they wound up welding. Guys that were good with a pen and pencil, like myself, they wound up writing some words or doing some other stuff where they couldn't hurt anybody when there was construction going on.
Captain Fred is my godfather. 2 years ago, I became one of the big suits and got my dancing, and I wasn't the best dancer in the club, so Captain Fred got me a nice suit where I didn't have to do too much dancing, and now I'm staying in that group because I can't dance.
What were you thinking? 3 words. The old bamboo. What were you thinking?
On parade day, it's such a special feeling that if you haven't done it, it's very hard to explain what it feels like. I guess it's just like the day of the big game. He stands up there on that chair, and he talks to you like he's talking to you individually, and not a room full of 100. Each word kind of just hits real hard, and you just want to go out there and you want to do your best, not only for him, but for the whole organization.
When you get ready and you gathers everyone in, and you know it's time to go, and that's when the butterflies come and the pressure starts. But the speech, and even up to convention center, right before you're ready to go on, that pat on the back and that little something just was always there to take the edge off and let you know he's behind it. And, just to know you're much part of this as he is.
We'll work out all the kinks, but know where it is. Get your white paper suit on, hit the cue on the C jump, and then real slow, right? And I know we didn't have time to practice that a lot. Just slow. When we're up there doing the essay, it was fast. It's real slow. It's a shadow dancing, right? That's just those two things like that everybody
our
gets.
first drill, whether it's on Broad Street or in the convention center. We just are bad. But whenever that happens, there was always Freddie that calmed everybody down. When you have someone that's leading you and you look at him and you see his confidence, for the 80 or so guys that are marching up the street, to have him, set the tone and for us to relax, I think that's why we're the successful club that we've been these last few years that Freddie's there.
Why we're around here for so long is we keep it together, right? More than other clubs, there's never any bullshit in there. We went down Key West, we ate together, we went out and had fun. We're different than everybody else because all we care about is the people in this room, right? We got guys that are 60 years old next to guys that are 10 years old and everybody in between. That's what makes us different. We kind of like each other.
It's pretty tough to handle grown men, let alone boys. He handled some grown men, and we did a lot of good things together. We did a lot of nice work. He's not only just the captain of a club, he does things for these young boys.
And we are getting ready to go to India, gentlemen.
And the captain is Fred Keller, who won first prize captain last year, and as you said, they were second in competition. This is one of the powerhouses. This is one of the groups that is going for that #1.
Very quickly, Steve, I can tell you they blew their whole music system. That's what happened. That's what we're waiting for. So, Bob Finnegan, you were right.
We have over 20 father-son combinations in the club. I've danced side by side with my father, which I think was a great thing, and that's one of the great things about being in this club, and that's it.
What were you thinking? Number 6, allowing me to teach tap dancing. What were you thinking?
I saw Freddie get a phone call, and it was at the end of a parade. And I watched him get down on his knees, and I knew that was something special. And that was when we finally broke the drought of losing for over 30 years, and that was in 1998.
It was the first year at the convention center, and guess what? The lighting wasn't perfect, but it was perfect for aliens. Your spaceship lit up and backdrop for your finale. The video screens worked for you. Jokers was on the way, and they also started to get the edge that made them successful.
It was a celebration of an organization, not a celebration of a captain. He was the type of guy that he always made sure that everybody was included. I think that if he had his chance in his last year, and I know this for a fact, if he could have traded that first place captain for a first place brigade prize, he would have done it in a minute. And I think that speaks to who Freddie Keller was as captain.
Everybody worked real hard, right? When we started out this morning, I said it's about respect. We win 1 year, they say, oh, you got lucky. We win a second year, 2 years later, they said, oh, politicians fixed it. Right? It's all about respect. You win the third year, you fucking
What were you thinking? Number 7, leaving me bad news as the captain. What were you thinking?
I've paid my dues, time after time.
Freddie, thank you for 17 years. The 17 years I'll never forget. The 17 years the club will never forget.
Fred, you've been great. You know, I hope bad news can fill your shoes.
Fred, I'd just like to say thank you for years of service here. We've had a crazy relationship. We met as a player and coach, then you were the captain, and we part as good friends. Thank you for all your time.
I just want to thank you, Fred, for the 17 years of leadership, the 3 first prizes, something that I'll never forget.
Fred, thanks for your 17 years, and congratulations on our first prize captain.
I got nothing to say, Fred. Everybody's up here telling you did a great job. If you don't know how I feel after 17 years, you never will.
For the friendship and the joy of working together for 15 years, which, thank God, will be a friendship to continue. And I thank you, Fred.
Step back, become one of us, enjoy New Year's Day now. You left it in good hands, and have fun now on January 1st.
I want to thank you not only for finally showing me what it's like to win first prize, but for doing a great job in this club and taking over and really taking it to new levels.
You know, as a marshal, I've been around a long time, and you know, I can't even begin to thank you for those years, and you know, really making me want to be a part of this club. You know, a lot of my friends are in here, and you know, you really made it feel like a home.
Proud to be your cousin, your friend, and to march with you all those 17 years. And I wish you the best, and I look forward to dancing with you again beside me.
Just want to wish you the best of luck in all that you do. I know you're going to be part of my life and the Joker's life.
Keep your cell phone on.
Thanks, Fred. You're the best captain I ever had.
What were you thinking? And finally, and I will let it rest for the remainder of my life. What were you thinking? Best wishes, all the best to you and your family. Love you dearly.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you, Daddy.
It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
No, I never seen that movie in completion. I
always,
it
I
is.
got all video. You want it?
I'll probably fall asleep.
Rocky's been on AMC.
It's a
group shot. You're all on, just so you know.
Set the third floor.
Quick little bites, right? Everybody's got a little story? Or whoever has a little story, just take the mic.
There we go. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
All right, I remember one time we sent Freddie to Home Depot to pick up chop saw blades. And he was looking, he's going for about an hour. And he finally calls us. I only find the big ones. You know, after you wear them down for a while, they get real small. We sent him with the small one. And he said, I only find the big ones. And he was here for about an hour looking for them. That was one of my stories with him. You know, John Boy.
I'll give it over to Rico. I already gave my story earlier.
You know, Freddie always said that he always came around the garage and he looked around a little bit and he always said, I don't see it. I don't see it. You know? But really, you know, when it comes down to it, I think Freddie seen a little more than he actually thought. But, you know, he was a good guy there.
I think that the one night when it was maybe like 2 years ago, and we were all done building for the night, and Joey Lieb whipped out his famous Stego Red, and Freddie said, you know, I'll only have one glass. Next thing you know, it was 3 hours later, and Freddie's his tooth was red, and everything came out that night. You know, who hated who, and a lot of stories came out that night. A lot of true stories. Who slept with who, and all that jazz.
Fred, this whole time, I didn't even know we were building things up here. I just went up there for the Dego Red. But I just want to say thanks anyway, buddy. Did a great job.
Yeah, I just remember one thing about Freddie. He's not too mechanically inclined, but whenever he was up the garage, he was up there and he was helping out, and he always did what he could do, and he led by example. Thanks a lot, Freddie.
The only thing I can really remember about Freddie, every time I was up the garage, the only thing he would ever tell me is, dude, why don't you do something, get your hands out of your pocket. So I'm trying a little bit harder, Fred, and maybe things will change.
Okay.
I know I'm probably not the most mechanically inclined person either, but I always follow Freddie's example of just grab a broom, push it up, and throw everything in the trash and just clean up keep it clean for everybody else. And I was always following Freddie's example with the broom. Thanks, Fred.
That was the only tool that Freddie was allowed to touch, other than that and the painting six-way tool. Me and Freddie started out doing this stuff together, and we finished up doing it together. A couple of the times that I remember most, can't say it. This is a family function, and I don't think we could really talk about them. Number of fights we got in, number of makeup sessions we had. It was good. It was a good 15 years doing this with him, and you know, I can't think of anybody else I probably could have did it with. He took a lot of my crap. I took a lot of his crap. So it was fun.
Hey, Freddie, that last guy, that's the reason why you're great, buddy. I'll see you later. Congratulations again.
More crap from him.
Great or gray?
Great.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Fred, I remember this year down at Pier, you must have been down there, and you must have went down there after work, and you called me, and I was with Andrew, and you said, news, I got good news and bad news. The good news is that your float's painted, and the bad news is that it's getting rained on. That pier that we had this year, wasn't the best shape, but I promise that I'll get it better better place. And I just want to make the point that, you know, what Jay Bird said and all these other guys, no matter what, every time you went to the club, you always grabbed the broom or you always crawled underneath the wire tie. There was always I don't want to mention no names when we had the other garage over 5th and McKean, but there was a captain who would walk in with his entourage and, with his hands in his pockets, walk around and, just say, all right, good job, guys, and just walk out. You always got your hands dirty and, you always did something. I appreciate it.
We all appreciate it.
One of the funny stories I have about Freddie is from this year. We're inside that pier, and it's probably one of them rainy, dark nights. We didn't have no lights, and you had to just kind of feel your way around. But we were there measuring out. Me and Tommy and Ginhard were there measuring out for the volcano, and then we had to be there for about an hour. We were sitting there chalk lining on the ground and everything, and his car was parked about 25 feet away, and I seen some movement in the car. I said, "Yo, Fred," I said, what the hell's moving around in the car there? I said, what do you got in the car? He said, the baby's in there. It should be all right. Hour and a half later, you know what I mean?
You get locked up with that, Freddie.
I mean, you get so drawn into what we're doing, you kind of forget about things, but he knew she was there.
Nothing I'm going to miss from you. All them late costume meetings in the garage late. Hope Andrews continues to do them late night meetings. Get me out of the house. The secret meetings. All right.
One thing I really want to say about Freddie is it was never about Freddie. Anytime anything was ever decided on, or any costume was picked, or anything was done, a float was built, or anything that ever had to do with the Jokers, it was never about Freddie. It was always about what was the best thing for the club. And I think that's why a lot of us guys wanted to be around him and be a part of this. If it wasn't for the way Freddie led, I don't think any of us would have followed. So that's basically it. And we brought your tools up here, Fred. We'll retire them up here. All right.
I got one more story, Fred, about you down at Pier when Bad News brought up the word wire tie. I remember when you got on the second tier to wire tie with Bad News, and you always had 3 points of contact, so you had no other hand to put the wire tie through. And I never seen you shake that much. I think you left with your right arm had carpal tunnel. So, but good job. Nice job anyway, Fred.
Bars on the scaffolding.
What else?